But first and more importantly, Joe, we played some of what the Secretary of State Rubio and War Secretary Pete Hegseth said today about NATO. How does that make our alliance and how much we can rely on the Americans look when they're talking like that about NATO?
Look, I think, and I certainly hope, that what we are seeing is, in fact, classic Trump brinksmanship. So this is Trump doing, what we've all done in the middle of a haggle, which is the walkaway. Say, right, okay, if you won't meet me where I want to be, I'm out of here. And you've got to be prepared to do that, or at least very much look like you're doing it. And so Trump has basically said, well, look, I started this thing. I bombed Iran into the ground. They've shut the Strait of Hormuz. But if you're not going to help me keep it open, I'll end the war tomorrow and it can just stay shut because we don't need what's coming out of it. And already you've seen within pretty much a day of it being leaked to the Wall Street Journal that is what Trump was telling his aides. We saw the United Arab Emirates come out and say, whoa, no, we'll do it. We're coming in, we'll do it too, as long as you don't shut the strait. And presumably if people think that America's not going to clean up its own mess and everybody's mess for them, then they will suddenly flip and they will come rushing to the standard, which is what Trump wants. And hopefully that is his long game, because if he is just seriously planning to, drop this giant sort of rock in a puddle and then just walk away when everyone gets wet, that would leave the world in a far worse position than before this war started.
Coach, I'm going to ask you something probably no one in the world except Donald Trump can answer, but what's your gut feel about what the president will be actually saying tomorrow? I mean, his constant media updates, it seems, are aimed at his enemies and allies in the Middle East. How's this going to play out? He's going to address the American people, so he's got to have, presumably, he's not going to start talking about, ballrooms at the White House again. This will be a very serious speech, I'd imagine.
Yes, lucky me, Steve. I've got to get inside Trump's brain and try to predict what he might be saying.
Good luck.
Look, he is aware of the situation that he's in, which is this war remains and has always been extremely unpopular with 70% of the American electorate, and we're just a few months away from the midterms. He is acutely aware of that fact. He's also obviously done something that has completely shocked energy markets and global supply chains and everything that we've been talking about. So he's going to try to balance both of those things. I think he has to speak to multiple audiences at once, which is always something that's difficult to do and what U.S. presidents are always doing at any point in time. So he's going to try to soothe the nerves of the electorate that does not want quagmire, doesn't want to see boots on the ground. They're very nervous at the fact that Marines are being deployed there. What does that mean? Coupled with saying, well, we've come this far. We're not going to just abandon this mess now and we're going to finish the job, even though the job has never been perfectly defined. So I think we're going to see a little bit of sort of classic Trump giving different bits to different pieces of the audiences and leaving a little bit of that element of surprise and unpredictability that he is known for, because he does not like to completely put his playbook on the table. And I think, unfortunately, we are still going to be guessing day by day as this unfolds.